Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for watching another video. Today I'm going to be answering probably the most frequently asked question that I've been receiving, which is how much does all this cost? So I'll take you through, show you exactly what I have, the price for each item, and I'll include a link in the description for all the stuff that I'll be showing you today. Hope you find this useful, and let's get right to it. Okay, so before I begin, just want to say that my cable management is really bad right now. It should not be like this, and it's been bothering me for a while. So finally this weekend, I'm going to take down this whole thing, and I'll be making a few changes to it. But I'll start with the computer. That's the most expensive and the most important part of this whole entire sim. This is the X-Force PC RTX system, and the specs on it is it's an i5 9600K that's overclocked to 4.8. It has an Intel Z390 chipset motherboard, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, 1 terabyte NVMe solid state hard drive. It has an RTX 2080 and a 700 watt power supply. So I bought this from Michael Brown over at X-Force PC. When I first started building my sim, all his videos were super helpful, and I just wanted to show some support to his business and make sure I'm getting a solid system. So the price on this was $24.58, but I also paid $200 in shipping. So this PC right here was $26.58, almost $2,700, which is definitely the biggest expense so far. So moving on from there, we'll start up here. This is the front panel mask by Dygma. They made both this panel mask and the yoke. The company is no longer in operation, but there are other similar products. So I'll include a similar mask to this one in the link. In the description. But I believe I paid $300 for that. The one I'm going to be linking is only $200. And the same with the yoke. This yoke is no longer in operation, so you know, depending on what yoke you choose, that'll greatly affect the price, the overall price of your sim. Because there's some yokes that are like $2,500, or you can get a yoke for $150. So it really just depends on what you choose. But this particular one was $600 at the time, which is sort of like a mid-level yoke in this industry. And behind the panel mask, there's a 22-inch monitor. So I paid $100 at Walmart for that monitor. And the program that's running on the screen, which is Air Manager, this is the desktop version. So I had to buy that software, which was $80. Here we got the Logitech Pro Flight pedals, and so those were $169.95. Here we have the Cessna switch panel, and that was $106. I have a parking brake panel, that was $55. I have a landing gear panel, that was $79. The throttle prop mixture panel, that was $149. The flap switch was $55. The trim wheel was $79.95. And I'll skip down to the fuel tank select, which was $79.95. So all these here, the Cessna switch, brake, landing gear, throttle, flaps, trim, and fuel select all came from Desktop Aviator. This middle panel right here is called the FXX Dual, and this was $219. And this allows me to connect my pilot headsets to the computer for when I talk to ATC. So it just plugs in here, and you can plug up to 2 headsets. You can control the volume of each headset or the master volume there. So I do talk to real live people when I'm speaking to the ATC in my videos, just in case some of you were wondering. And we'll move over here. This is the circuit breaker panel that I made. This was just some scrap piece of metal, and the switches here, about 12 pieces of momentary push button switches, and those were $12. Moving on up to the avionics, I have 4 panels here from PropWash Simulation. These 3 here are the radio panels, and I used them for COM2, NAV2, and the DME. And I have an autopilot down here. The autopilot was $89, and all 3 of these were $50 each. Moving on to the SciTech, this is a very common paddle. This was $150. Right above it is an iPad that I went on eBay and bought a used one for $100. And there's Air Manager running on that. The app was $20 on the Apple Store. These 2 are the real SIM gear, G530 and the audio panel. The 530 was $399 and the audio panel was $299. These TVs I picked up from Best Buy, and they were $399 each. If we go back down, I have some powered USB hubs. Those were $34. I have it here. Those were $34.98 each. The light strip that I'm using underneath my glare shield, that was $38 for the strip. I have a butt kicker that's connected to my chair. You can see it here. Just in case you don't know what that is, it makes my chair vibrate, so I can feel like when I start up the engine and when I'm taking off and adding flaps and all that stuff. So that is $169 for the butt kicker. And like I mentioned in a previous video, I'm running a second PC for this diagonal panel. And that PC I ended up picking up for 450 bucks. It's not as decked out as this X-Force PC one. It's just real basic. It's an i5 6400. It's got 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. It has a 2 terabyte hard drive and an Intel HD 530 graphics built in. And so that's pretty much the major components. You know, I also bought some PVC, some wood, nails. I bought a few extension cords and a surge protector. All that was about 170 bucks. And I think that pretty much covers all of it. So I'm going to give you 3 total prices right now. Starting from scratch, buying every single thing that you see right here, cost me $7,350. Without buying the two PCs, this would have cost $4,242. And without buying the TVs and the computers, this would have been $3,042. And I know $7,000 sounds like a lot, but for me, this sim has been very valuable. You know, I can train as much as I want. I can fly anywhere I want, anytime. You know, it just really made sense for me. I haven't configured the views yet, but just want to show you that I can easily load up different aircraft. Right here, I'm in the Baron. I am a licensed pilot. I earned my flight instructor certificates back in 2008. But at the time, I just decided that flying for an airline wasn't for me, and I stopped flying. Now we fast forward about 12 years later. You know, once a pilot, always a pilot. And I want to get back into it. I just didn't want to spend so much money for a very few hours. I wanted to be able to, you know, fly as much as I want and, you know, help myself relearn everything that I've been missing out over the years. And this is the way I went right here. If you want to do something like this and, you know, you don't want to spend that much money, there's actually a few things that you can do to reduce the cost. So first is the computer. If you know how to build a computer, or if you know someone who can do it for you, or if you have, you know, some kind of discount coupon or something that you can find, you know, maybe the computer might not cost you $2,600 like it cost me. The same with the TVs. Maybe you might want to just start off with one TV. That's how my build started off. And you could save a lot there. Another thing I would suggest to save some money is not using a second PC. So instead of doing that, you can put a tablet here and just run Air Manager on a tablet. And that will save you a lot. The same with all these avionics hardware. You don't have to buy all this stuff. I'm gonna flash up a picture right now of my very first build, but most of all my avionics were on tablets. The radios and the autopilot, everything was on tablets. So that is a possibility. But yeah, that's about it for this video here. We'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate you watching.